Hi guys, this will be another video for the spoilers, and the first leader we're going to go over the yellows is going to be the cell leader. The cell leader here is a very generic leader in terms of being on the front side. It draws in when it does declare an attack, and then is able to awaken itself, much like other leaders on its own or with alternative awakening conditions if you have a specified Z unison with a specified cost of 1. So you also have to have 2 more energy, and it untaps 1, flips 1, and then on the backside here, it reduces the energy cost of cell game cards in your hand by 2 for each card in your energy. So that's a real cool ability that because you can play pretty much high costed cell cards, and then you're able to reduce them for each energy you have. So for example, if you have 3 energy, you can reduce it down by 6, but you still have to pay the specified cost, just an FYI. It does have an ability as an auto to be able to attack when it draws, but it has another auto here, which is kind of confusing. So I'll try to explain it to you guys through example rather than read the card text because it's kind of confusing. So if we look at the cards like here, which has a specified cost of 1 and it costs 3, if you reduce the cost down to 1 because of the backside of your leader, because you have energy, let's say you only have 1 energy, and you have a 3 cost card with only 1 specified card, so yellow, then what happens is when you do play this card out, let's just say you're playing this particular one out here, you look at the top 3 cards and you slip cells underneath it, or cell game cards underneath it, equal to the number of specified costs that this has. So for example, this one has a specified cost of 1 yellow, and because you have a specified cost of 1 yellow, then you place only 1 yellow cell game card underneath it, and then you're able to gain the activate main skill from that. So if you're using the game mechanic well, you can actually order everything correctly. So you're going to actually resolve the ability of placing the cards on the bottom of one of your cell cards first. Then you're able to use the ability on the auto here when it is played to place the same card that you place underneath it to activate the main skill into the drop area. So that's basically what it means. For example, this one also has a specified cost of 2. So this card places 2 cards from the 3 cards that you look at underneath it, and then it gains the activate main skill of those cards if the card allows you to do so. So that's basically what it is in a mouthful. So yeah, that's basically what it does. The cell game cards here, the stage card allows you to draw 2 cards and then place the top 2 cards, place 2 cards from your hand on top of the deck. So this allows you to stack your deck so that you know exactly what you're going to be stacking when you resolve the ability of your cell game cards here on the backside. So when you're resolving that auto, you're basically going to be able to use so by placing cards underneath it using the cell game stage card. So that's what it does here. Let's go into the all the 3 drops. Because I delayed this pretty much later on because of my busy work schedule, you guys do get another treat here, and that's being able to use the new promo out of the set. And being able to use the new promos out of the set, you're able to see the new stuff that comes out and see how it works. So I would say that this promo here is very useful because it has the counterplay ability, and then being able to activate at the counterplay ability, the activate main cards are very crucial to this step. So we're going to repeat this card again. So what it does is when it does get played, you get to place one of your cards that are cell games underneath this card to the drop area, and then activate that card's activate main skill. This could be a very useful skill, especially since you are ordering everything correctly. So you're using the backside first of the leader to basically to stack, not stack, but basically to put cards underneath the cell games cards. And so when you're playing a cell game card like this one, for example, you're gonna be placing cards that you might want to have against your opponent. So at the counterplay window, if you, for example, your opponent plays a card that has a skill that has a dual attack, or does have dual attack, double strike, or triple strike, then what you could do is stack like cards like this, for example, which allows you to negate the opponent's battle card ignoring barrier for the turn. So you're able to utilize this ability to basically be able to negate that card's skill because you've absorbed this card, for example. Another ability that this card does is that it activates his ability again, limit 1, of course. So of course you don't want to use the activate the card on when it is played. You can activate it when it is blocking. So when it does block, you're able to use the activate main skill. So I would say this card is a very crucial promo for this particular card, as you're able to do that. It does have the activate main as well to be able to draw 2 cards and then place 2 cards from your hand on top of the deck in any order. So it allows you to stack your deck in any position you want so that you can resolve your abilities quite successfully. Let's go into the other 3-drop here. The other drop is another crucial cell here. It is able to draw a card as an activate main, but it also allows you to absorb this card if you do ever absorb it, and then place it in the drop area to draw a card. It has a counterattack ability to play it, and then it says the same thing as all the other cells before it. When it is played, you get to place a cell card, a cell games card underneath it into the drop area, and then activate that activate main skill from the drop area. So another crucial ability. So at the counter attack window, you can actually use some of the abilities at that window to be able to use the activate main. So if you want to draw a card, for example, you have another copy of it underneath it, you draw a card at the counter attack window. This one allows you to switch a cell battle card to active mode, and this one allows you to KO an opponent's battle card in rest mode and KO it. So this, I would say, this is a really cool combination to be able to combine the Absorption Terror with the Withering Terror. Because when you negate an attack, you get to play the backside of your leader ability to slip this card underneath it if it's on top of your deck, or the top 3 cards of your deck. Then you place it underneath it and then activate the activate main skill of this to KO the same battle card that attacked. So it allows you to basically interact on your opponent's turn and then KO your opponent's battle card on the attack. So that's pretty cool, especially if it has a negation ability or it has a dual attack ability. I'm not sure. Yeah, so the dual attack happens at the end of the battle, whereas this happens before the battle ends. So you're able to utilize all that ability quite nicely. But I might be unsure about that ruling, so you'll have to double check with the judge there. So those are the 3 drops for the most part. Let's go into the 6-drop. The 6-drop here is the Evolved Terror, and it is a card that basically switches with your Cell Games battle card to active mode after it is already declared an attack. So that allows you to basically restand one of your guys. And then it has the ability to draw a card and then place a Cell Games from underneath this card to the drop area. So that's really useful, is because you're going to be able to generate a +1 or even a +2 depending on what's going on. That's really nice there. And then let's go into the 6-drop here. This is the one that's where Cell is blowing up Goku in the King Kai's planet. So to fit with the lore pretty well, it even has the ability here that says whenever your opponent uses a card with Son Goku in his character name in a combo, you get to use his card in a combo area, and then it gains plus 10k combo. So it can combo for 15k, which is quite nice actually for a yellow deck. So any card that allows you to combo for 15k from your hand or the combo area is quite nice. So that's really nice. And then it also has the ability here to negate an opponent's card at the activate main step. So it allows you to negate an opponent's battle card, and it also has an activate battle ability to play this card out when you have 3 or more energy for 1 energy. So that's kind of cool there. So you're able to use that ability quite nicely. I think it only allows you to combo for an extra 10k if it's on the battle area rather than from your hands. So that's going to be the downside of that. Then we have the 7-drop. We'll go to the 7-drop real quick. The 7-drop here is called the Maximum Terror, and it's because it's a specified cost of 2. You're able to slip 2 cards underneath it, although I wouldn't recommend slipping 2 cards underneath it because for the most part, if you read the skill here, when it does attack, you get to choose up to one of your opponent's cards in rest mode, ignoring barrier, and KO it, and then place all Cell Game cards underneath this card to the drop area, then activate one of the activate main skill on each of those cards from the drop area. So unfortunately, you won't be able to activate both the activate main because you're placing all of them, and you can only really activate one activate main skill from these. So just an FYI, just slip only 1 card underneath it for the most part, unless you really want to have filtering happen. So that allows you to do so. The activate main ability allows you to choose one of the Cell Game cards, and it gains plus 5k power for the turn. So it allows you to basically abuse the 8-drop. Let's just go into the 8-drop real quick. The 8-drop here is able to activate its ability when a player attacks. So if your opponent is attacking, for example, you get to use a battle card from underneath this card in a combo with its non-activate main skills negated for the turn. So you're going to be activating the activate main skill because that's the only one you can activate. And then you're able to use whatever skill that you might need at the activate, during the attack step. So the attack step is pretty crucial. And then it also has the activate main ability here to choose up to one of your opponent's cards in rest mode and place it underneath your Cell Games battle card. So you can choose any of your Cell Games battle card, and then you get to absorb one of your opponent's, not absorb, but slip a card underneath from your opponent's battle area underneath one of your battle cards. So a form of removal as a form of disruption, and it also has critical, which is kind of nice too. And you're normally going to be playing this out for either 3 energy or for 1 energy, depending on if you want to EX evolve it or if you want to play it And then the nice thing about it is because it has a specified cost of 3, you are able to slip 3 cards underneath him and then gain so much different abilities that you might need for every situation. So yeah, that's kind of nice little ability for that one. There are other cell games that I chose not to include. I believe some of them allow you to negate a unison or take off markers, but I did not include them in this deck because space is really tight for a yellow deck. Let's go into the Z battle card here. The Z battle card here allows you to, let's look at the specified cost here at 3. So it allows you to slip 3 cards underneath it, much like this seller here, right here. You're able to slip 3 cards underneath him and then able to utilize all their ability. And since this card does have dual attack inherently, you get to basically use the activate main of 2 cards underneath it. Yeah, basically twice a turn, which is really nice. It has all the keywords you can imagine. It has deflect, barrier, dual attack, and blocker, but it doesn't have double strike and all that cool stuff. And also activates at the blocker step as well, not just attack. So it can attack or block, and then it's able to use their abilities. The one downside of this is that it does cost 2 Z energy, and 2 Z energy is going to be really needed, especially since you're playing cards like Bardock here, to be able to play itself out for 1 energy. But for the most part, you're only going to be playing him very sparingly, as you are able to interact with your opponent's turns using the activate mains of your cell cards. The old card I decided to use is going to be called the Valiant Breakthrough SS Goku. If you guys don't remember what it does, if your opponent has 4 more energy, you get to choose you get to play this card, choose up to one of your opponent's cards, and place it in rest mode. So that means you can rest an energy card on your opponent's side, and that can be very useful, especially if you're going to go for lethal. Although there's really no cell in the deck here that has double strike. So unless you want to play this guy out, he doesn't really gain the double strike, but you're going to be playing him for double strike. There's really no quad strike. As the SCR of choice will be this one, and it's not going to be Cell Xeno. I know sometimes you want to play Cell Xeno in this deck, but the numbers just don't really add up really well because you're playing 8 drops and 3 drops, and that only adds up to 11. So that's why I decided to play this one. And then we also have, yeah, that's pretty much all there is for this particular archetype. And then we're going to go straight into the gameplay video after this, so stay tuned. Hey guys, this is going to be the gameplay video for the Cell Leader that's coming out of the new set. So what it does is, if it does attack, it draws a card. So what we're going to do is set up, shuffle our deck first, and then draw our 6 cards. We want to open up with any of the drops that we can play as early as turn 1, I would say. And this card could be played for turn 1. The only issue is that we are, yeah, so this is a draw 1 card. So we're going to keep this hand because we also have the SCR as well. So what we're going to do here is we're going to charge one of these Gokus because we kind of want to play the cards out of the set first. Let's take off our life first before we actually play the game. Alright, so we're going to use the 1 energy here because we've reduced the cost down to 1, and we're going to play this particular cell here to draw a card, and then we could place a card underneath it if we have anything, but we don't, and then we're just going to pass turn here. On our opponent's turn, we're basically going to do the same thing where we're going to Z-charge this card here because it does have an activate main to draw anyways, and then we're going to take our turn again. From there, we're going to charge one of our cells. Let's charge the 7-drop cell here because we can't really play it until the next turn, so we're going to keep it for later. Now we're going to pay the 1 energy here to send off the cell from the Z energy, and then we're going to play the cell games stage, I believe. Yeah. So the cell game stage is going to come with 1 marker. We're not going to use the ability just yet. We're going to try to awaken first. Untap 1, draw 1. And we really don't want to attack on the front side because on the back side it also draws card too. So we're going to save that for later. Now we're going to use the Cell Game ability to, the Cell Game Arena ability to +2 and allow us to draw 2 cards here and then stack our deck. So depending on what we want, we can stack our deck. So we're going to stack the one that allows us to draw a card. I think that's the more important ones. And then since we have 2 energy, we want to play this card out as well. So let's just play the, let's just play these 2. So we're going to place these 2 cards on top of the deck. This one first, and then this one next. And then we're going to pay the 1 energy here to play this cell here. And then we're going to order this correctly. So we're going to resolve this ability first by looking at the top 3. But since we already know the top 2, we're just going to look at the top 2. Okay, so from looking at the top 2, we're going to add one of the cell cards on the bottom of this one. So the one we want is the draw ability. So we're going to use this one to place this card underneath it. And then we're going to place the rest on the bottom. So all we have to do is bottom deck that one. Yeah, we're going to bottom this one because we can't place it underneath it. And then we're going to use the ability, we're going to proc the auto on the play ability to send us off to the drop area, and it allows us to draw a card. So a really cool little +1 that we were able to do. And that's not all. We could activate the main here to draw 2 on top of that and then stack our deck. So any cards that we don't need in our hand, we can just place it back on top. Since we have multiple cells, we'll just put this cell back on top. And then we're going to keep this Goku because we already have, we only play 2 in the copies, and then we're going to place this on top. All right, so we can leave this as a blocker to basically block an attack, or we can just attack with our leader, drawing a card, and then pretty much end there. We don't have any negation because our negation was already used up twice already. So if you guys want to order that a little differently, you could have. But yeah, we have no negation in our hand, so I'm not sure if your opponent can actually clear this on their second turn. But let's just say they just ignore it, or you can actually just use the blocker ability here to block the attack to the cell games if you really want to, so it doesn't lose all its marker. And then most likely this will go away from the attack because the leader is swung. And then yeah, pretty much it. We'll just take the next turn, and then since we have 2 of these cell games already, so we're just going to charge this one. So at the 3 turn, we can actually play our 6 drops for only 1 energy. So let's try to do that here. Let's just try to stack our deck first, because that's what we kind of want to do. We're going to use the cell game ability to draw 2 and then stack our deck on top. So let's see what we want to put. We could put this one on the top to kill a battle card, or basically absorb a battle card. So let's try to do that one, and let's try to put this one on top as well. Okay, so we have 2 cells on top. So now with only 1 energy, we can play the 1 energy here to play the cell. And if we order everything correctly, we can use this ability to look at the top 2 of our deck, and then place this cell underneath it, and then place this on the bottom. And then we can proc the ability here to draw us a card, and then utilize this cell right here to absorb a battle card in rest mode. So we're going to send this off to the drop area, and this will absorb it. And that's kind of nice, because now it's a 20k battle card that is absorbing a card as well as attacking a card. So you're able to attack and then draw a card. A lot of value for this one in particular. Okay, so we're going to need to find a way to generate some Z energy. So we're going to draw a card. Be able to generate the Z energy, even though we're drawing a lot. The whole point of drawing was so that we could basically Z charge as much as possible. We don't have enough Z energy to play our Hercule as our super combo, so what we can do here is probably just charge this guy and then place him in the Z, and then when we swing with this guy, we can just charge the Vegito, for example. Okay, so we can't really play the Vegito here because we don't have enough Z energy, but we could play it. So let's just hold this in our hand and charge a cell instead. So now we have 2 cell games that are being Z charged, and then we can counterplay twice. We can counter attack by using this card ability, and I believe this is not a once per turn, so you can actually use this ability to be able to negate an attack, and then be able to look at the top 3 cards of your deck. And so that's really useful if you want to be able to stack a card. Let's stack this one because we can, bottom decking the rest. And then if we want to use the ability to place 1 card underneath, we could do that. Although I don't see the point in doing that. I guess you can restand this guy if you want to keep him from being attacked. And then we also have the Vegito here as a counterplay, because your opponent has turn more energy, you have turn more Z energy. So you're able to counterattack. So that's kind of nice as well, tapping out. And then let's just take another turn here. Looks like we drew another 3-drop. So your opponent won't be at 4 more energy. So what we can do here is charge this cell, and then we can finally play this cell on top of another cell. So since this cell, it doesn't really do anything on anything, what you can do here is place this for 1 energy, playing this guy out, and then when it does attack, you get to combo with the card underneath it and activate its main skill. So let's do that. Let's attack with this. Actually, let's just EX Evolve on top of this one. So we're going to pay 1 energy here to EX Evolve on top of this one, and this allows you to attack and then combo with this one, and this allows you to, when activate main, restand it as cell cards, so you can restand this one and then be able to do critical twice. So let's use Z charge that one, and that's quite nice there. You also have 3 more energy, which is a legal target. You can attack again if you want. You can use this ability to draw a card. This has a blocker. A lot of little yellow stun package that you can play. For the most part, I think we've done mostly everything except for the yeah, we haven't done the Z battle yet, so we're gonna Z charge this one so that we could basically have this guy out, and then make sure that we use our stage first to draw 2 before we play our Z battle. So we're gonna place this on the top, 2 cards on top, and then we can pay the 3 energy to tap out if you really want to. Yeah, to basically play this guy out. We're just demonstrating, even though it's actually strategically incorrect to play this guy. And then you can basically stack 3 cards using this card right here. And then you're getting a lot of skills. Look, you can put all 3 if you really want to. So you have 3 skills that you can activate twice a turn. If your opponent has like a bunch of battle cards in rest mode, you can KO 2 of them. And then you can also restand this guy too. So after he's already swung, you can actually use his ability again, activate main. And then, so this is a limit one, so you won't be able to use this ability again. My bad on that one. So you're basically able to use as a skill, and he's also a 25k dual attacker. So you're going to send this one off to the drop here, and then KO something in rest mode. So a lot of skills that you can use. Let's just send 2 cards under to the drop area because we have to pay 2 for this guy. So that's what I can do. But for the most part, I think we've went through all of them within a few moments. Notice this is the main deck pile. Yeah, we pretty much did everything except for this dual attacker, or the double striker here. Just to be able to KO an opponent's card in rest mode, ignoring barrier, and then activating a main skill. So that's pretty much the only thing we haven't done yet. But the deck's pretty much straightforward, I would say, for the most part. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the gameplay video. Not much complication. It's only complicated because you're playing against an opponent and you want to leave energy up so that you can put counterplay stuff and counterattack stuff. And even on the attack declaration, you can actually use cards underneath. But it's very limited, so it allows you to basically control your opponent. So that's pretty much the yellow package and the cell games. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you for watching.